this computer. Welcome to this member showcase. I'm joined today by the amazing Debbie Walker. We're going to get to talk to Debbie in a minute. But just before I do that, just want to tell you a little bit about what this WiBN Essex channel is about. It is really about supporting business owners to network for success, as well as showcasing WiBN, because why would I not do that? But most importantly, it's about showcasing the members, what they do, who they are, and why they do what they do. Because let's face it, most women in business are in their field of business because they're passionate about what they do. I don't think I've really yet come across anyone that hasn't got a passion for what they do, and therefore that's why they do it. So today I am joined by the amazing Debbie Walker. She has a business called Family Connections Essex. And I think a bit like all of us, she's got more than one business, so we may touch on that a little bit. But she offers supervised contact services across Essex. Now, when I first met Debbie, I had no idea what that meant, so I'm going to get her to tell us all really about what that means. But she has a passion for supporting families. She's also a member of my WiBN Basildon and Billericay group. So, Debbie, thank you for joining me.
Thank you for
Welcome,
having me.
welcome. Tell me why you first started Family Connections Essex and what led you into this realm of work that I knew nothing about until I met you for the first time.
Um, I'm passionate about supporting families. I worked as a family support worker sort of about 50 years ago now, and I set up some teenage groups, and it was such lovely feedback. Even the other day, I met one of the teenagers and said, "Oh, you made such a difference to my life. I'm now a nurse. Little junior Ronnie is getting on really well. He's gone to uni." So I just kind of felt really passionate about supporting families from that point. And then I was obviously, like I said, I was a family support worker, did lots of life story work. And in the business I did, I just thought there's such a need for families who can't be together, whether they're being foster placement or whether it's private law. I just felt that they needed to kind of reunite, but in a safe kind of nice space where we haven't got a clipboard, we haven't got our badge out, because that's really hard for families, especially being observed, because the work that we do, the supervised contacts, can be quite intrusive if you don't do it right. So hence the name, Family Connections Essex. It is about connecting families together, reuniting them and giving them that space to be, in a normalised environment as much as possible. We do contacts in the community, and then we also do them in centres if needed. We've got 50 centres in Essex. So we have a model of no parent will have to go any further than 10 miles away from their home. So yeah, sometimes they'll have that space together in the community where it can be a bit more natural, and other times it's in one of our centres. So yeah, I'm just passionate about it. I just think it makes such a difference to the children and families. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Did you always know? Because I think it's that thing, isn't it? When you're 15, 16 years old and people say, "What do you want to do when you grow up?" I mean, I'm still trying to figure it out at 50 something. But did you always have an inkling that you might do something around this type of work?
well, at first I wanted to be an accountant because I was really good with numbers, and I was thinking, oh, well, how can I make the most money? And then I realised actually, do you know what? That was quite a lot of study. Wasn't so keen on that. So my mum and dad had a haberdashery store, so I was a bit entrepreneurial from when I was really young. I used to sell buttons on my dad's store and go to the wholesalers and get cards of lace and sell that and say, "That's my card of lace." Um, but that also led me, working on the markets also led me to meeting lots of children. So I was used to push all the children around, like the market stall holders. If there was children, I'd go and play with them. I'd go and push the babies around. So I had a connection instantly to working with children. So then I trained to be a nursery nurse, got my degree in early childhood studies, and then that led me on to working in the family centre and took me along that kind of line of work. So yeah, so no, I didn't know initially, but it soon kind of found its way through.
Yeah, it's funny, isn't it? I wanted to be an architect, and when I looked at the number of years that I would have to be studying, I was like, I'm not being an architect, because I think when I looked at it, it was like 7 years at uni, and I was like, I cannot do 7 years at uni. So I think we do have these ideas about what we want to do, but sometimes that study piece certainly put me off. It's
Yeah.
funny, isn't it? If you think now, if I was, what would my life be like if I was an accountant? Not that we're dissing accountants on this YouTube channel. We've got some amazing accountants in
I've got some great,
within.
I've got a good accountant as well, but it's hard work.
What surprised you? What has surprised you most, do you think, about the business that you're in? Or is every day a surprise because you are dealing with, you ultimately you're dealing with people, aren't you? And sometimes emotions.
Yeah, I think that has surprised me the most because I've been doing this line of work for 20 years, but I rebranded the business last April into the kind of name it is now. What surprised me most this year is about how intense it is and how much of a you have to listen a lot. It's a bit like being a counselor. There's lots of tears, lots of laughter, but also, people are really anxious. They're scared of the situation. They don't know what it is. They've had to go through court a lot of the time or through social services. So what surprised me most is the emotional support you have to offer the families in even setting up a contact for them, because they've got a story. They're human beings. They've got a
Yeah.
story. They've been through a lot. Sometimes to get to the point of where they're getting to booking that contact with us, they've gone through 2 years of court, battles, money, thousands of pounds, loads of emotions, sometimes haven't seen their children for 2 years. So
Wow.
we are to get to see their children. Like one dad said to me the other day, he was crying. He said, "You've actually made my whole life, my day. If I can see my children next week, it will just be magic." And I just thought, that's just why we do it. And I turned to my husband and I
Yeah.
said, "That's why we do this."
Yeah, that's
Because
why we do it. Some
yeah,
days, working in business and running your own business, I know I do it, every once in a while it's like, oh, life could be so much easier. But ultimately you are changing people's lives, and knowing that you get that feedback, and sometimes people don't even need to say it, I'm assuming. You can
yeah.
just see it on their face to go, wow, thank you. So how do people usually find out about the service that you offer? Are you part of, is it like a government scheme? Is it just a service that solicitors promote for you? How do people find out about the service you offer?
Well, a few different ways. We've got our own website, which is www.familyconnectionsessex.co.uk. We're really excited that we got enhanced accreditation for the National Association of Contact Children Centres. So that's abbreviated in NACCC. So we got the enhanced accreditation, which means we're kind of really quite marked that we've got a really high standard of practice, and that we went through it at an advanced level. So that's a really good platform for people, because lots of judges and barristers and solicitors refer parents to that, and then they just type in our postcode, trying to find the nearest contact centre or the nearest service, and then fortunately we pop up first, which is really exciting for us.
That's brilliant. Yeah.
Yeah, and then through solicitors, through the network that I'm with you, Vicky, through WMI, that's really, really important, that business network, meeting the solicitors face to face, because then they've got that connection with me. And that's the beauty of the kind of networking that we do with you, is that we get to meet people over and over again face to face. So lots of those relationships that I'm building up through the network is great. So yeah, lots through solicitors. And then just sometimes just parents word of mouth. And as we know in business, the best thing is, we used you. I had a client yesterday say, "I used you before Christmas and thought you was brilliant. My friends are in a similar situation. Can I pass your details over?" And I was like, "Of course you can."
You can. I'd be very
Yeah,
delighted.
of course you can. So yeah, that's how people kind of find out about us.
Yeah, I guess it's only when you need this kind of service that you then go looking for it. But I know certainly when, I originally met you last year and I started to understand what you do, knowing that we can connect you through the network, not just in Essex alone, but across the whole of the WiBN network, because it is nationwide, being able to connect you with all those different solicitors to share what you do. Because I've never come across anybody that does what you do. So to have you sort of in my kit bag, if somebody says, "Do you know somebody that does?" I'm like, "Yes, I do." And she's an amazing lady with an amazing with an amazing business. So this accreditation, I know you were very excited when that came through for you. That really helps elevate you and
Yeah.
shows people that are looking for that um, that accreditation to go, yes, this is a business that, you know, is doing all the things that it
A
should be
lot of
doing.
judges say it has to be a NAC registered centre as well. So because we're NAC registered, we're on their register and we've gone through that kite mark, then, that's sometimes the part of the court order that it has to be an NACC registered centre. They have to be a part of that association. So that was a platform that we knew right from the very beginning that we had to kind of get that accreditation. Plus the fact for me, it is about offering a quality service to families, and the fact that it's kite marked is brilliant. But when we went through the accreditation, the lady said, "Oh, actually, you've made my job really easy. You're already doing it." So, and that's why they could offer us that enhanced one. So, yeah, it's really important for families also, like you said, to know that we're a legitimate company as well.
So when somebody comes to you for the first time, what's the kind of typical process that you go through with them? So I've gone on the website, put in my postcode. I live not so far from Southend, so one of your centres has popped up. What's then the process that a family would go through, or is it very different depending on their needs?
No, it's pretty similar. Whether a solicitor or an individual family contact us, we would have initial chat about how we do it. We would have, we find out whether it needs to be in the community or in the centre, how old the children are, the duration, how many hours it is. And then we send them out. We've got a referral form that we send out, which captures all of the information about a little bit about the case. And then we have a parent engagement form that they have to sign. So that's a bit more detailed, really, to say that they agreed to turning up at a certain time, they agreed to paying for our service. But more importantly, it's also got things on there like, do they agree for photos to be taken during the contact? Are they happy with the other party to have video contact with other family members? So that's kind of the nitty-gritty bit. So they would fill in the referral form, fill in the engagement form, send it back. And then what happens is then we have the information of both parties. We'd ring the other party and say, "Are you aware that this is being set up?" Because sometimes we ring parents and they're like, "I didn't know anything about this." But hopefully that isn't the case. And hopefully parents like, "Yes, I'm aware. It's gone through court. Yes." And then we start to set up the contact for them. So we look at a contact centre or look at a meeting point. But what's really important for families is a lot of the handover process, and we carefully manage that because some families have non-molestation orders in place, which means they're not to see one another and they can't be near each other. So we have to manage that very carefully. So part of our process is we would say, right, Dad, you arrive 10 minutes early, you'll go into the centre, Mum will arrive with the children, or the other way around, arrive with the children, and then we bring the children into at the end, you stay in the centre, and then we take the children back out to Mum or Dad, and then they leave. And that's quite key and reassure lots of parents that we have a really careful handover. Even if it's in the community, we do the same thing. We pick locations which are 5 minutes away from one another. And then once we've done that, we've got all of that in place. And if we've booked the centre, we might need to book the centre if it's in the contact. Then we send an invoice out, and our invoices have to be paid within 48 hours of the contact time. And then that secures their contact. Yeah, and then it might be a contact we do fortnightly, might be one we do once a month. We can also do contacts virtually. We do it on Zoom, on Teams. We go into children's hospitals for social services if it's a new baby. So yeah, we can do contacts. I had this to the other day say to me, so you pretty much can do anything, Debbie. And I was like, yeah. I said, just ask me. I'm a can-do person. I will make it happen. So if you're not sure if we can do it, ask me and I will do everything possible to make it happen. So
I think that's the thing, isn't it? You're obviously you're staying on the right side of the law because you're getting information that says what can and cannot happen, but you're still then putting together the contact that is family friendly. As you said at the beginning, people are quite anxious, can be quite anxious when they come to you for the very first time. So just knowing that someone with a beautiful smile is going to greet you, look after you, and take care of you and your kids.
Yeah,
Because I guess it can be quite a lot of anxiety around kind of like giving your kids over,
yeah,
depending on, what has gone on with families.
yeah, we always say to both parties, because we write a report in most of the cases, I say to both parties, you're not my client, even if you might be paying us. If you're the parent who's paying us, your children are our client. So we know we're not working for you just because you're paying it. We're not doing it by your rules. We have set procedures. We're a professional contact service. Your children's care, their safety is paramount. Um, you know, we're there to observe the contact and report on that, and that report normally is used for solicitors or courts. But at the end of the day, we also will intervene if a parent doesn't see something and the child's at danger. Of course, we're going to intervene.
Well,
Um,
yeah,
and most of the team, we've got about 25 contact workers. Most of them are either trained early years, so I've got social workers on the team, people with lots and lots of experience. We do CPD. I do training for my team as well on report writing, on risk analysis. So, the team are really up to speed. So, so there is a process, like you said, coming back to that question, there is a process of which we do. At the end of it, we will send an email out to both parties saying this is the address, this is what we're doing, and this is the person who's going to be supervising your contact. For me as well, it's really important that we try and get the same person, because
yeah,
if the children are really unsure and who's this strange face and who's Debbie or who's Tara, who is, so we will try and get the continuity of the worker as well. So if it's fortnightly, I try and book the same worker, and families really appreciate that. Lots of feedback has
yeah.
come back and said it's really nice to have Janice every week because we know what's happening. The children are getting to know her. But where we can't do that, we'll put a second worker in, and then that second worker becomes a constant sort of backup person. So yeah,
Yeah, because it's really key, isn't it? I mean, it's even the same when we talk about networking and we're grown adults, seeing that same familiar face and
yeah,
getting to know somebody and building a bit of a relationship. That's when we know, actually, as business owners, we start to refer and pass business. It's going to be the same for kids,
yeah,
seeing the same friendly face and
definitely.
it not being someone different all the time. But I appreciate you can't always, it's never not going to happen that you're going to have to switch over. But knowing that that's part of what you're trying to do is really helpful. So I will pop in the description for this video, obviously all of your contact details. But is the website the best place for people to come and find out more about what you do?
Yeah, or they can email direct to admin@familyconnectionsessex.co.uk. They can phone us as well on 07790 230 640. But all of that information is also on the website.
So,
But if they want kind of all the fees and want to chat to us more, then just contact us through one of those mediums. We've got an inquiry form on the website, but if they want to email, most parents just email it in and
yeah.
chat to us.
Brilliant. And what's on the agenda for this year for you, the next 12 months?
And we've got a target of 100 ongoing clients. So I manifest a lot. So I've got two boards to the side of the office, and I'm just clearing one board out so we can add to that suite of clients as well. So it's shouting from the rooftops, really telling people, because when people speak to me, they say, "Oh, we didn't even know. Lots of centres have got massive waiting lists. We didn't know you were around." So it's just trying to network and tell people about it. Going to meet lots of solicitors. Building up our social media presence. Just doing lots of kind of marketing. I'm even going back to old school a little bit and going into solicitors, taking some of the information, the flyers. That's our thing. We've got our 50 centres now, wanted 50 centres by the end of the year.
Well done.
Thank you. We've pretty much got a centre in everywhere in Essex, and we can do beyond. We can do beyond Essex. We've got clients in Oxfordshire at the moment, in Medway. So even though we're Family Connections Essex, we can go nationwide as well. So that's really exciting this year. 100 ongoing clients. Just keep shouting from the rooftops what we do and helping families. That's what's on the agenda this year.
Yeah, so it would be remiss of me to say if you have watched this video and you know someone that might need the kind of services that Debbie offers, please just grab the link for this video and send it to connections that you've got, because with most of us business owners, it is about visibility. It is about how can I get my message to as many people as possible, because people don't necessarily know I'm here or this is what I offer. So if you have watched this and you think you've got someone that might need or benefit from Debbie's services, please do send this. So as we wrap up, um, I hear that you didn't learn to swim until you were 30, but now you're swimming like a fish. What was all that about?
I don't know. I just never I don't know. I never had swimming lessons, and I just decided when I was 30, well, I better learn. And then I had two swimming lessons in 30 minutes, and I learned to do front crawl. It was like she just said, "Go B," and that was it. That was my front crawl. Quite simple. And it's funny because two people recently, when I've been swimming at the gym, have said to me, "You're a really good swimmer." And I was like, oh, thank you. But I am nearly 50, so I have been doing for 20 years now, so I'll take that one. I was like, yes. So yeah, no, I didn't learn till I was 30. But yeah, who cares? No, as
Unusual.
long as you learn to swim.
Quite unusual. Well, thank you very
Thank
much for
you.
joining me today. As I said, all the details for Debbie will be in the description below. So do go and grab those. Debbie is also a member of my WiBN Basildon group. So if you would like to find out more about WiBN and the different groups I run, you'll find all the details also in the description. But thank you for joining me, Debbie. I will
Thank
see
you.
you soon because we do face-to-face networking together. In fact,
Yeah,
I will
I'm
see you
joining
very
you on
soon.
Friday. Yeah,
Yeah, I'll see you very soon. But yeah, thank you for joining me and talk to you soon.
yeah. Thanks for having me. And if anyone hasn't joined the network, definitely join it because you're
Oh,
amazing,
bless you.
Vicky. You do really try and help every one of your members. So yeah, thank you for having me. And yeah, I'll see you soon. Thanks.